All right, I'm on hole number 4 of the St. Patrick's Day tournament. I'm in Monday's practice round on the rookie division. And let's go check out hole number 4. Hole number 4 is going to be Glen Monarch. Now we're getting into the holes. These first, any of the Drew Moore Links holes, if you've got lower developed stuff, are not going to be real. They're tough holes for lower developed stuff. For me, when I go through and I look at the holes and I see like where can my account be strong and where can my account be Glen Monarch Estates. Hole number 1, like where can they be strong and where is it going to be weak? The Drew Moore Links holes are definitely holes that we've got their lower developed stuff is going to play weak on those holes. So the whole thing is trying to get the minimum score on that hole and just make it so that you can get the minimum score with your eyes closed. You got that, then go to the holes where you can try and pick up a shot. And this is a hole right here where we can definitely try and pick up a shot. And it's in wood. And let's see what I was bringing for. I was bringing a QB. No. I was bringing a sniper and a navigator. And that's with an upper developed sniper. I'm looking at my notes for my upper developed count. I use a sniper and a navigator here. But the sniper that I have on my upper developed count hits 170 versus this level 4, which hits 160. So I think I'm probably more towards max club with a navigator here. And what I'm really looking for is that 100% accuracy in that ball guide. So our choices here, because we're putting on one backspin, so we can bring our Viper. We're only engaging one backspin and we'll have pretty good ball guide here. But I'm going to bring 2 bags, one with a sniper. Do I have one with a sniper? I don't even think I have a bag in here with a sniper. Let's switch this out to a sniper. Sniper. And let's switch my number 1 bag out to a Viper. It's going to be either one of those two. Ideally, I'd like to bring my sniper just because it's more accurate, and I may have to bump that up. I may have to bump it up in order. What I'm normally doing here with my upper developed account is I'm hitting at mid club, which is 1.2 per ring. I'm doing a 10% wind adjustment, and I'm doing 1 backspin. Now, if you're playing in one-on-one, the 1 backspin, here's the cup, here's the flag. The 1 backspin will get you. You'll end up being just a little long, but as it rolls past the cup, it's got the perfect speed so that if it went over the cup or hit the flagpole, it would end up in the hole. Because it's better to be a little teeny past the hole so that you're not short. So the 1 backspin works. If you're playing a one-on-one, you want to make that about 1 1/4, 1 1/3 backspin, so that if you're off to the left or the right, the ball stops right here. And so you don't want to end up losing the shootout because you roll past the cup with that speed. The speed's fine if you're on trajectory. If you're playing one-on-one, you want to stop right at the cup. So maybe 1 1/4, 1 1/3 backspin. But in the tournament, I'm going to be right at 1, maybe a sliver over. But I want to try and get into this range right here where I'm in my mid club. So I may have to bump that up to a 2 power ball. We'll just have to see. I'm going to be, I think, closer towards max club if I bring a nav. If I'm with my Viper, I'm going to be right at minimum club. I'm going to start off with my sniper. We'll see how it rolls. But this is a hole right here. The first 3 holes in this tournament, I think hole number 2, that par 4, we have a shot with lower developed stuff. It's really going to depend on where we end up out there, whether we can get ourselves into our short iron or wedge range or whether we're having to come out with a long iron. Ideally, for lower developed counts, if you can get into your short iron range, you've got more ball guide and more accuracy. Your chances are really good. But this is the first real hole where you've got a serious chance of getting it in the hole. Okay, we're up towards, there's max, there's min, there's mid. So we're kind of in between mid and max. It's 1 backspin, no side spin, 1 possibly a sliver. Okay, I'm going to do the 1.2 and we'll see how that works. So there's 10%, that's 3, that's 3, 3. So there's 3, 6. And these rings are all freaking distorted. I'm going to run out of time. That's all right. I don't like the fact that the way the wind's blowing here, the wind in the last few tournaments has been blowing from the left to the right. So when you're making that wind adjustment, you didn't have to contend so much with that sand. So I'm going to have to do my pull. Instead of doing my pull so that I'm working from the center of the rings over towards the sand, I'm going to set it up so that I'm pulling the rings on the other side so that they're not distorted. Because it's going to be really hard to make a wind adjustment. This is a low, and this is definitely going to be a hole if you've got Power One low wind balls. That will it'll benefit you because you cut that wind way down. Okay, one backspin, no side spin. Let's get it lined up at the hole. 3.8, 10%'s 3.8, so that's a 4.1, 4.18. Let's say 4.2. So there's 3.6. There's 4.2. Ah, hit it great to the right. So the sniper will work there, and I'll just have to work the numbers on the wind. We'll have to come in there and hit that perfect a few times to see where we're at as far as wind adjustment. I did the way the wind was blowing, I did a 1.2 per ring, and I was one ring off on the right-hand side. I started off on the right-hand side. The wind's blowing to the left. So we'll have to work that hole as the week goes on, but I think that sniper, today's goal is to figure out what clubs I'm bringing to these so then I can start working on wind adjustment. So I feel pretty comfortable with the sniper right there. I may switch to a katana on that just to cut the wind down a little bit more so that I have less of that effect. But do you see what I'm saying? Where the first time I came at the hole, here, let's go to the hole. The first time I came on that hole, let's zoom it up. We're in this area here doing the rough bump, and we're coming out trying to bleed out, and the wind's going in this direction. So the first time I spun around so that I was pulling it this way, and the rings are getting distorted when it gets into the sand. So it was hard to establish like where exactly was 3.8 rings or 4.2 rings. So the last time I spun around and I came at it from this side, and I pushed the wind out so that I could use the rings that were over here on this side that weren't distorted to establish my wind adjustment instead of trying to use these distorted rings. In the past, we've come here, the wind's been blowing this way, so we could make that adjustment. We were always over this fairway, and so it was nice and clear. The sand wasn't affecting our wind adjustment. But with the way the wind's blowing in this tournament, that sand is going to be a factor, and you won't be able to get a super accurate read on it unless you spin it around and look at it from the other side. And this is kind of non-intuitive for those of us that use the wind ring method because we're used to pulling the wind out instead of pushing the wind out. But on this hole right here, because of the way the wind's blowing, it's probably going to be better to push the wind out so that you can get a more accurate feel for that adjustment. And I may switch that up tomorrow and play with a katana just so that I can see with the 2 power ball or the 2 wind ball, cutting a little bit of wind down. And because I've lost distance there, I'm not quite in my mid club. So I'm going to continue to work on that hole and see maybe a ball change and then that same setup. All right, that was hole number 4. And that is a serious look at hole-in-one on that hole. So that hole right there is the first super legitimate chance for lower developed clubs to be able to pick one up. So we really want to, that's a hole to circle that you really want to focus on as the week goes on. All right, that was hole number 4 of the 2020 St. Patrick's Day tournament and Monday's qualifying practice round of the rookie division. Thanks for watching.